The righteous strike and what has been done to the craft and to writers' rooms over the last several years um, is we're going to lose the artistry, probably already losing really great potential artists
Mm.
because one cannot really make a living doing it anymore. And I wish that the AMPTP would just share with us, what they're making on the residuals so that we can come up with a formula
Mm.
to just create it and get our fair share. Sadly, it's about greed, I think, for them. And
Mm.
we're not asking for anything beyond, what's equitable. What has happened to the industry since I first started, in it 20 years ago
Mm.
is really I've seen a decline and demise, not just in our pay, but just in um, the artistry. Because what's happening is that the old network formula was, you do 22 episodes, 24. Will and Grace, we did like 24 and 25 episodes a season.
So many.
And then you have a couple months off and then you go back to work. And while you're on while my old contracts when I was on Will and Grace and other network shows were that I could not work on another TV series because they
Mm.
wanted my full creative attention. And you've got great shows. You got Frasier, you Will and Grace, Friends, like Sex and the City, like all of those really great shows.
Yeah.
Well, so unfortunately, what's happened in the industry with streaming and and cable outlets, they do fewer episodes, which is fine.
Hmm.
But then they've tried to just make it cheaper so that they don't have to pay writers. So they don't want to pay writers, your weekly salary. So they'll create these little mini rooms. And so for maybe 10 weeks or something,
Hmm.
you'll write on a TV series and then you may not work for the rest of the year.
Mm.
And then that series then goes on into production, but they don't bring those writers with them into production. So all of those writers who are trying to learn the business and grow so that one day they can become a showrunner
Hmm.
don't have any kind of experience with actors on the set, table reads, nothing. They
Mm.
just are gone. And then the bulk of the work that needs to be done, because there's still writing that needs to be done when you're on set, is left to the showrunner and maybe like one other person.
Mm.
And so then the showrunners are overwhelmed, and the younger generation of writers aren't getting any experience in order to grow in their field. They're just sort
Hmm.
of stagnating. It affects the work and the industry.